guys, it's Casey. I am working on doing a sweet potato casserole for Thanksgiving, which is coming up, and then we're also doing Friendsgiving here at our house. So I'm actually making, I know banks, these pegs. I'm actually making a double batch of that right now, and so I thought I would just do a quick little how-to with you all. Kids are in the room playing, husbands in the backyard doing husband things, so if you see people running around, this is real life, folks. Okay, so the first thing I did was I got about I guess they're like 5-pound bags of sweet potatoes, and I took all the skin, or most of the skin, off of them. If you have some left over, you know, you'll see some of these. There's bits and pieces left. That's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I did take all the skin off. The next thing I'm going to do is get my cooking spray. I'm going to spray down this very large sheet pan. I've got my oven preheating to 350. Now I have my oven preheating to 350. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and just dice these up so we can roast them. That noise was my husband dealing with the propane tanks. Because we are going to do a Cajun boil turkey for Thanksgiving. It's what we do for Thanksgiving and Christmas every year. Basically, you get the pot ready as if you are going to boil crawfish or crabs or something like that. But then you drop a turkey in instead, and it's really delicious. But I digress. Alright, so we're going to cube these sweet potatoes and then put them on the roasting tray, and then we're going to roast them. And that is step one of the sweet potato casserole. Other ingredients you're going to need include brown sugar, a little bit of salt, cinnamon, go with me here people, don't hate on me, pumpkin pie spice. Now listen, just because pumpkin is in the name doesn't mean it's pumpkin flavored. This just has the best winter flavors, like your cinnamon, your ginger, your nutmeg, your allspice, all into this one little teeny bottle. Don't hate on it. Trust me, it's delicious. To cut down that sweet, cayenne pepper. Not too much. We're not going to blow your head off, I promise. But you want to cut that sweet with a little bit of heat, and this is delicious. You put it in there, and people are like, whoa, this is amazing. What did I just eat? And they don't know. And then also for our topping, we're going to get some, what is this, mixed chopped pecans. And then we're going to do a little bit of flour and some butter. So I am going to start dicing all of these sweet potatoes. It's going to take me a little while. And then when we come back, these should all be nice and roasted. You can boil these sweet potatoes if you didn't want to roast them. I prefer to roast them. I think they taste better when they've been roasted because you're not mixing a lot of water in with the sweet potato. Also, I like, that was the cat going for the treats. Also, I like the kind of the flavor that roasting gives to any vegetable. So, again, we've got our sweet potatoes. I've got 2 5-pound bags here, peeled. If you don't need to make that much, obviously I'm making a double batch. Just cut your recipe in half. We're now going to dice them. I'm going to grease this pan. I'm going to put them into roast. Once they're roasted, we'll come back and I'll show you the next steps. Alright, welcome back guys. Sweet potatoes have been in the oven roasting for about an hour, give or take. About to pull them out, and then I'm going to show you the next steps to making this sweet potato casserole. Oh, problems with wearing glasses. Did y'all see that? They get all fogged up going to the oven. Alright, now, usually if you are roasting a vegetable, you would not overcrowd the pan. You're not going to get a good roast on a vegetable if you do that. But because we're going to mash these anyway, didn't really matter. I still get some of that roasty flavor in here, but I'm not looking for super like crisp like you would if you were just serving a roasted vegetable on the side. So, all good. For this next part, you're going to need a big mixing bowl. Happen to love these. Another Christmas present from my husband a few years back that I wanted with the rubber bottoms. Love them, off of Amazon. I'll try to link them in the description because they're really just great mixing bowls. You'll also need some kind of like mashed potato or mashed potato masher, a potato masher, or like I have this immersion blender, which I'll be using, which is great also. I'll try to link this on Amazon. Alright, so this is a little hot, so I'm going to start scooping these into my bowl. If you haven't already, please do hit the like and the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified whenever I have new videos that come out. You know, this isn't just a food thing. Food is a big part of my and my family's life, so there are a lot of those videos because I do cook almost every night, but most of what I cook isn't painstaking. It's not, you know, 2 hours to get dinner ready type things. It's good. It's good everyday family friendly meals. But then I do a lot of arts and crafts with the kids, and so we'll try to do some videos. Just recently my son and I did a Thanksgiving turkey craft, which I posted. You know, Christmas is coming up and we have a couple of different traditions that we do with the kids, like cookie making and ornament painting and stuff like that. So, just really good family-friendly ideas. Just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you'll get the notifications. I also have pets, in case you aren't aware, or you're just joining us or you didn't read it about me in my description. I am married to a husband who works offshore. I do have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. I have 4 pets. We have a lab, a Labrador Retriever, a lab. He's a yellow lab. His name is Beignet. We all call him like Paws or Meatball, and he's awesome. We also have a black cat named Binks, and he is amazing. He actually is just about to make 6 months old, and Beignet is actually about to be 2 on December 1st. And then we also have a pet turtle, a red-eared slider, and a pleco fish named Columbia, because she's a Colombian spotted plecosaurus, I like to call her. She's really cool. She does look like she could be like some kind of old dinosaur. So, anyway, that's just a little bit about me for those of you who aren't aware. But, so yeah, a lot of my life revolves around, you know, cooking, maybe cleaning. I do work. I have a full-time job. I am a boss lady somewhere, not to be named, but I happen to love my job, and I do get to work from home. I love the people I work with. I love the people I work for. But yeah, food, crafting, pets, family, that's what I'm all about, so that's what you'll see in these videos. So I've got all my potatoes in my bowl. I'm going to plug up my immersion blender and kind of get this going. To this, I'm also going to add some butter. So let me get that out. Now, I will remind you that we are making a double batch of this because I'm making some for Thanksgiving and then I'm making some for Friendsgiving. You could easily cut this recipe in half. You can cut this recipe, you know, into a fourth of this and make it for, you know, small family gathering. Or if you have a large family, you know, do the whole thing. The world is yours. Do what you will. Alright, so in here I put almost a whole stick of butter. It's what I had left from another recipe. That might seem like a lot, but this is a lot of sweet potatoes. This is like 10 pounds of sweet potato. And I'm going to hit it with the immersion blender. Now we're going to get this all nice and mushed up. So, what is your favorite thing to cook during the holidays? Or what's your favorite thing to eat? This is definitely one of my favorite things to eat. And it's easy enough to cook, so I enjoy that. But do tell me down in the comments. And like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Alright. Nice and mixed. I'm actually going to leave this rest here just in case I need it again. I shouldn't, but I'm going to do that. Where's the best place for you to sleep? Probably here. All right, to this, it's not as loose as I would like it, because remember, we're gonna bake this again once we put everything together, and we are adding brown sugar and spices to this, which are going to soak up some of the moisture that's in there also. So I'm actually gonna add just this little bit of milk and probably a little bit more butter, because why not? It's the holidays. So let's see. I'm gonna get out for butter. And just a little smidgen of milk. And then we're gonna add egg in this too, but I can't add it right now because my sweet potatoes are still really hot. And so if I tried to add the egg, they would just scramble. So not gonna do that yet, but we'll get there. So yeah, again, I love sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving. It's one of my faves. What are your fave dishes? I'd say my least favorite is probably like if somebody serves mashed potatoes. I know, don't come for me. I am a potato person. I love me some potatoes. But I don't know, I just feel like there's so many other dishes that I don't normally get to eat unless it's Thanksgiving that I don't want to waste the space on the mashed potatoes on my Thanksgiving plate. My sister's favorite is green bean artichoke casserole, and she only likes it, well, not only likes it, but she loves it the way my older sister makes it. So my younger sister's favorite is the green bean artichoke casserole that my older sister makes. So much so that my older sister actually makes my younger sister her own pan. I'm not even kidding. Her own pan, and then she'll eat off of that pan. You know, obviously she'll take it home with her, but then she'll eat off of it for a while. Alright, probably going to do like another half a thing of butter. Again, don't come at me. Nobody said my holiday recipes were going to be the healthiest, okay? But they are delicious. I promise you that much. Alright, so I'm going to mix this butter in nice and melty. When the time comes, when this is kind of cooled down, we'll mix in an egg. And that's just for binding. Now we're going to get going with the dry ingredients, the seasonings in here. So, a little bit of salt, because this is a sweet dish, and we want that balance, and salt will really balance it. Don't want to put too much. I'm putting about, I don't know, a little bit less than, I'd say that's probably a teaspoon of salt in there. Putting this to the side, I reserve the right to change the amount of seasoning that I put in this at any given time after I taste test. Getting my brown sugar out. Now I will tell you, for the brown sugar, you are going to need to start off with at least a half a cup. I know it sounds like a lot, but remember, this is like 10 pounds of potatoes. So, and whenever you're measuring your brown sugar, you're supposed to pack it down. That's the rule. And that is what I do. Okay, so I've got about half a cup of brown sugar there. Throw that in. And I might add more. It just depends on what this tastes like when I'm done. Alright, I'm going to add about, we're going to start with a tablespoon. Tablespoon and a smidge, because it's getting everywhere, of cinnamon. Then I'm going to do my pumpkin pie spice, which isn't pumpkin flavored, but it does have more cinnamon in here. I like cinnamon. But it's also got ginger, nutmeg, and allspice. You could buy the ginger, the nutmeg, the allspice individually. I actually have them in there for various recipes. I do cook a lot of Indian food, and that often has like ginger and different things like that in it. But why do that if you have one little pan that can give you all of it in one? So I'm going to start off with about a tablespoon of that as well. And then we're going to do some cayenne. Now remember, we're not going to blow your head off with this, but you do want a little bit of this heat in there to balance out all of that sweet flavor, right? The cayenne is sticking. think I'm gonna start with maybe like half a tablespoon. Because again, I don't want to blow anybody's head off. It just wants that flavor. It wants to be kissed by the cayenne. Kissed by the cayenne. Alright, so I'm going to mix all this in. And then we'll taste it and see what we need to do from there. Again, this is a double batch. Cooking, if you're not cooking 10 pounds of sweet potato, just cut everything in half. But I'm cooking both batches today because that's just going to make it easier on me, especially since we're hosting Friendsgiving here at the house. I'll have all of this kind of done already and in my disposable cooking pans, and then all I have to do is stick it in the oven and heat it up. So very easy. We do a Friendsgiving potluck too, so all of our friends are bringing yummy, delicious dishes. I'm very excited about this. I'm excited about Thanksgiving too. Tomorrow it's going to be at my sister's. Don't know if you can see this or not, but there are still some little chunks of potato in here. I don't want really big chunks, but I do think that little bitty bits here and there throughout, kind of studded, it's totally fine with me. I don't mind them. I feel like it gives it a little bit of texture, which is always nice. If you're not a fan, or you know, you have family that does not want to have those big chunks in there, by all means, mush it away some more. And actually, I did just see a larger chunk. So I'm going to hit it with this one more time just to get that large chunk. But these little chunks, in my opinion, are just fine. Smells amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get a little teaspoon for testing. Got to taste test your food. Very good. I do think I'm going to hit it with just a little bit more salt to kind of balance out the sweet notes. But right now it is pretty delightful. It's a fine balance between being too sweet or too salty. But that half a tablespoon of cayenne that we put in there was perfect. I'm getting like just that little notes of it. And I'm just going to hit it with a tad more just because I'm putting a little more pumpkin spice in there. It's definitely good on the cinnamon. And now I am getting, this was my mixing spoon. Tasting spoon. Tasting spoon's going in the sink, guys. But I am going to mix this salt in here. Again, it's about balance. And this should be really, really delicious. And then also, guys, there's no raw egg in here yet. So remember, don't freak out. Once I add the raw egg, that's it. There won't be any more taste testing. So it's important to get your seasonings in there and taste it before you put your raw egg in there. Alright. Oh, I got 2 minutes. Another tasting spoon. Thinking that's going to be it. Debating if I want to add anything else, like a little bit more brown sugar. do think it needs just a tad bit more. Just to kind of round out that cinnamon and stuff like that. And I will try to get the appropriate portions of everything written out and up on my website. It'll probably be after the Thanksgiving holiday, but I'll link the site below and you can check for it. But I'll try to get the written recipe to be a little bit more smoother. I keep telling myself that I'm going to write this recipe down. Ooh, almost had a sneezing fit. That I'm going to write this recipe down one day. Every year I never do it because this is how I cook. Taste and that, you know, just go with it. But this is good because now I'll actually get the recipe written down and up on the website. And then for those of you who don't know, there is a website link here on my YouTube channel to, it's just a website for like the written recipes, but it is somethingmore.simplesite.com, and that's where you can find, you'll be able to find this recipe, recipes that I've posted on here in the past, and then some other ones that have not yet posted. Alright, another tasting spoon, hopefully the final tasting spoon. I think that'll do it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just add just a little bit more brown sugar. Sorry guys, I'm like second guessing myself here because I just want to make sure it's seasoned well. Alright, now that'll do it. And I'm not even going to taste it again because I know that's going to be perfect. So what I'm going to do now is it's cooled off enough. I'm going to add in that egg. Probably add 2 eggs because this is a double batch. My kids are in the back playing. I don't know if you can hear them. Every once in a while they get a little loud and crazy. And then we are going to pour this mix into these lovely disposable baking dishes, which I absolutely love for holidays or parties. Because you just serve it in this, they're easy to put into the oven, you know, heat them up, and then when everything's done, just throw in the trash. It's great. Love it. Eggs. Alright. 2 eggs going in. No, I am not a one-hand egg cracker. Sorry to disappoint. Oh, come on. There we go. Kind of difficult to crack eggs with one hand. I don't know why. It makes me feel weird that I can't do it. You know, other people make it seem like it's such an easy thing. Maybe it's because I have small hands. I don't know. A tiny person. A humongulous, if you will. Alright. This is almost done, guys. Not a complicated recipe at all, but very delicious. Everything you need in your sweet potato casserole. Alright. Now I'm going to start getting this into my trays here. Oh, it's heavy. I'm just going to divide it up evenly. probably try to crop that out.
Hey!
Okay. Real life, folks, real life. Egg mixed in there better. All right. And that is that for that. So, pretty simple. Especially if you have the amounts written down, which I really need to do. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna clean this up, guys. I'm gonna let this cool down, and then we're gonna make a topping for this sweet potato pie. So, be back in a second. Let me get this cleaned up. Okay, we are back. And I told the kids they have to be a little quieter, right? Because while this is real life, you still want to learn how to make this. So the next thing we're going to do is like a little topping for this. So I'm going to start with a little bit of flour, some brown sugar, and then those pecans. And I've also got some cold butter that I've kind of cubed up. Not super cold, but cold enough. And I'm going to mix that all together and then sprinkle that over these two. And then the last step is to bake this in the oven at like 300, 350 until that topping is kind of like, I don't know, kind of cooked through. It's not really golden, but you can tell that it's cooked because you're not going to see the flour anymore. The brown sugar's melted, the pecans are really toasty, and then everything is super, super delicious. So I'm going to start with about yay much of flour. That's like a teaspoon and a half. I'm actually going to do 2 of those because I've got 2 casseroles here. You know what? Let me do 3 because I'd rather have too much of this topping than not enough. And then we're going to do a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. 1, 2, 3 plus 4. Let's see where that gets us at in life. Alright, then we're going to dump in our cubed butter here. And this is just how my mom used to do it. Obviously, I know everybody has their own kind of recipe. Actually, my mom used to boil her sweet potatoes. But then as I started doing it, I don't know, I just decided to roast them one day, and I liked that a lot better. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and kind of mix this all together. I'm using a fork. That way I can kind of mush my butter into the topping. So you're looking to get that all kind of incorporated, and it's going to turn into like these little balls of butter randomly throughout the brown sugar and flour mixture. Not really a dough. I don't know what you would call it. Deliciousness is what you would call it. It's just a crust. And once I get this mixed up well enough, we'll dump it over the top. I just don't want any big chunks of butter, right? And the butter obviously is going to melt once we start baking it, and it's going to seep into the flour and the brown sugar, and that's all going to melt and kind of caramelize a little bit. Oh, it's going to be magical. Alright, so this is good. Not a whole ton of topping, but good enough. And I'm going to sprinkle that over each. Dang it, Tina. And I'm not covering the whole thing. I could make a second batch of this and probably cover both of the things in their entirety. But it's just really to help give it a little bit of a crunch when we add in the pecans. And a little bit of flavor. A little flavor. because my mama said this is how we do it. So this is how we do it. Alright, and now my chopped pecans. You can use chopped walnuts, you can use mixed nuts. I wouldn't try for like almonds or anything like that, but now, you know, foiled by the bag. I even had it all pre-ripped so I could easily open this. Didn't work out. Alright, and now we're going to take our chopped pecans and just pour them over the top. Obviously, if you don't like pecans, you don't like nuts, you have a nut allergy, leave it out. You could do marshmallows instead of pecans. I'm not a fan of marshmallows. You could do marshmallows with the pecans and stuff. I do like marshmallows and like hot chocolate and stuff like that, but not really with my sweet potato. Plus, this isn't really a dessert, you know? It's supposed to be a side dish. Even though it's a little bit on the sweeter side. Hey, boss! This is Beignet. Hi, my baby. He's not feeling very well right now. He's not sick or anything, but he's got something called like swimmer's tail with dogs they sometimes get. He went swimming for a long time yesterday. Hi. And so he's not feeling his best. So he's coming to check on or see what Mama's doing and then tell me, hey Mom, I need some attention. Alright, so we've got the pecans on, we've got our little topping on. So really all that's left to do now is, like I said, stick these in the oven at 350 until they are completely, well obviously the sweet potatoes are cooked through, but until all that butter's melted, the brown sugar's melted, and your kind of pecans kind of look a little goldy. And that's it. I'm not going to do that tonight because I need these nice hot and ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow and then Friendsgiving on Saturday. But that would be it, guys. So do try the recipe. Let me know how yours turned out. If you liked it, if you hated it, if you think I've lost my mind putting pumpkin spice seasoning in a sweet potato casserole. But do tell, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and y'all come back soon.